I got frustrated to the point where I walked away from the sport. It's sad because boxing can be a great business. It can be an awful business for some people. And I was fortunate enough to where it helped me. And I was fortunate enough to get out of it healthy. People ask me, would I let my son box? And I don't think I would. I would not let him box.
All right, hey guys, welcome back to the studio. Today we have former professional boxer, author, actor, and real estate broker, Tarick Salmaci. Welcome to the studio, Tarick.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for making the trek out here. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. You've got a great bio, and you've been boxing since you're 8 years old. Kronk Gym, Detroit.
Forever. Yeah, it seems like I've been fighting forever.
Yeah.
Even though I've been retired for a long time now, but I fought all my life. From 8 years old, I started boxing. That was mainly I never had a job.
Yeah.
Really until I retired from boxing.
Right.
So that was my career, my sport in elementary school, junior high, throughout high school, throughout my teen years, boxing. Even though I played all sports, I excelled in boxing, and it was something that I loved. I just really loved it a lot. From the first day I put gloves on.
That's amazing. How'd you find your way into boxing? How'd you find your love?
Somewhat my family. My grandfather fought in Argentina, but he didn't give me the box. It was one of those, it's just in my blood. And it was one of those things where I'd go to a recreation center to stay off the streets. And I grew up in the south end of Dearborn, Dix Avenue and Verner, which is near southwest Detroit. And it was like the south end of Dearborn is like its own little city, I want to say. Even though it's part of Dearborn, it's all alone, nestled in the south end of Dearborn, nestled between Ford Motor Company and a cemetery. That's your surroundings. So you're growing up around a factory and a cemetery, but we loved it. We knew nothing else back then. My parents would work, and I'd go to the south end and stay with my grandmother in the south end of Dearborn, and we stay off the streets, go to the rec center. It was called the Joe Hamoud Recreation Center, and it was opened by the city of Dearborn to keep us off the streets. We'd go there, we'd shoot pool, we'd play video games, our homework. One day they said, hey, today we're going to start boxing as activity. Man, me and about 50 of my friends, we all jumped and joined. We were so happy. Oh, boxing, yeah, new sport we're going to do. And it was one of those things when I put on gloves, I swear to you, 8 years old, when I put them on the first day, I go, this is my life.
Wow.
I knew it right then and there. It was my passion. It was something I really loved. And slept, ate, drank boxing.
Yeah, and day. You knew that was your driving force to go pro.
It was. I mean, I wanted to go pro. I did go pro, but my goal was always to go to the Olympics, make a career out of it.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the Olympics and then turn professional. And fortunately, I got a chance to try out for the Olympics. I just missed it. I went to the finals of the Olympic trials. I took second, so.
That's huge, though.
I know, man. I missed Barcelona. I missed the Olympics, but it gave me a good name.
Yeah.
I got a lot of offers out there.
Yeah.
I turned professional.
20 wins.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's good.
I did what I can. I know I could have did a lot more as a pro. I didn't become a world champion. I was rated by major boxing organizations. WBC rated me 6th in the world. WBO rated me 4th in the world. I floated around in the top 10 for like 2 years. But on the political side, man, there's a lot of false promises. I just got frustrated with the sport. And kind of like, a lot of people don't know this, but like 29 years old, I was so frustrated because I was kind of getting shelved. I wasn't fighting as much as I wanted to. I had the management at the time wasn't doing their job that I had. And I got frustrated to the point where I walked away from the sport. At 29 years old, I thought I was going to walk away for good.
Yeah.
I was just like I said, I was on the top 10 for a couple of years and wasn't getting the fights I needed, wasn't getting the chance at shot at the championship. Moved on, started investing in real estate, got my broker's license, just doing my real estate thing for about 3.5 years at the time. Then out of the blue, in like 2005, I received a phone call from a producer named Mark Burnett. He's one of the biggest producers. He does Apprentice, Survivor. It was out of the blue. And he has Sylvester Stallone on the phone with him, calling me. I'm thinking I'm getting pranked here, you know?
Yeah.
What's going on here? They're telling me that there's a show they're going to do. It's called The Contender. It's a boxing reality show they want to do. And Stallone was talking about it's going to be a drama, like a Rocky type of of show, like a Rocky type atmosphere where you get behind the fighter, you know what the fighter is going through, you get to know the fighter. So it was a really, really good experience for me.
That's awesome. So that was a positive experience
Yeah,
and
oh, yeah.
very successful. I remember the Contender.
I mean, overall boxing, man, I mean, there's a lot of the business side, it's dark, some of the business side, you know, and a lot of fighters go through a lot of heartache. They go through a lot of, you know, promotional problems, managerial problems. A lot of them don't have the right people behind them. And it's sad because boxing can be a great business. It can be an awful business for some people. And I was fortunate enough to where it helped me. And I was fortunate enough to get out of it healthy, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have Jackie Callan in common with Antonio Sabato Jr. So she's managing him, and you also worked with her.
Yeah, Jackie's incredible. When I grew up at the Kronk boxing gym in Detroit with Emmanuel Stewart, who trained me from when I was 8 years old. I've known Emmanuel. And I was a top Kronk fighter prior to the Olympic trials. I was rated top 3 in the country. I won three U.S. national championships at the time. I was a state champion a few times, and I was getting ready to turn pro. And Jackie Callan swiped in, and kind of made me an offer I couldn't refuse at the time, you know. And I wanted to stay with Kronk. I love Kronk, but at the time things were slacking. They were going slow.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's get things moving. But I don't think they wanted to give me the right deal.
Yeah.
So Jackie gave me the right deal. James Toney was a world champion at the time. She was managing James Toney. I signed with Jackie and had my first pro fight at the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Wow.
Yeah, way back in, man, it sounds ancient. 1992, people. I was young, though. I was 20 years old, you know.
Right.
I was 20 years old. We packed the Palace. Muhammad Ali showed up.
Wow.
Yeah, Muhammad, to my first pro fight, which meant the world to me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge.
Ali, I have a history with Muhammad Ali. When I was a kid, when I was 10 years old, I got a chance to meet him. He came to Detroit, and took a photo with him, and I wrote him a letter, a personalized letter at 10 years old. And how much he meant to me. I handed him the letter, put it in his jacket. I remember he walked up to me and he said, he called me over. He goes, "Come here, kid." He goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Tarick." But he grabbed me by the back of the neck, reached over, whispered in my ear. He goes, "Listen, stay off of drugs, stay away from drugs, and stay in school. Yeah. And you become something in life." And I said, I appreciate that advice. And I was kind of mesmerized in awe of him. And he left. Then the very next day, I'm getting ready to go to school in the morning, and the phone rang. And lo and behold, it was Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
And I answered the phone. I left my phone number on that letter. I left my phone, but I didn't expect him to call me.
Right.
We're talking 1982. He had just retired from boxing, and Ali was always humongous. He was even bigger than life. And I answered the phone. All I heard was, "Assalamu alaikum." It means peace be upon you in Islam. He says that all the time when he meets somebody. You're supposed to say it, and you're supposed to say it back to them, "Alaikum salam," like peace be back onto you.
Yes.
But if you don't say it, they say it. I said, "Who's this?" He goes, "Assalamu alaikum." I go, "Who's this?" He goes, "Assalamu alaikum." I go, "Alaikum salam." "Who is this?" He goes, "Muhammad Ali." And I couldn't believe it. It's like a dream.
Yeah, that's so powerful.
Yeah, and he spoke to me, honestly, for about 3-4 minutes, which is kind of a long time.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I didn't realize till I got older. When I look back when he spoke to me, he didn't talk about boxing at all. Not one word about boxing. He just called me as a human being. And he knows I want to, what's the odds of me continuing? I was 10 years old. Who knows if I'm going to quit? What's the odds of me becoming a professional? So to him, I was just a little boy who had dreams of boxing, but most likely maybe is not going to pursue it for one reason or another. But he just called me just to tell me, give me pointers on life.
Inspiration.
Life in itself.
Yeah. That's powerful.
And I appreciate it. I appreciated that from him, and it always stuck with me. And, that about staying in school at the time really stuck with me. Because of him, I ended up, graduating not only high school, from college as well, University of Michigan. I got my bachelor's degree from there.
Amazing.
And I got into business, and I thank Ali for that.
So powerful. His portrait hangs in my home office.
Does it?
So I have a wall full of folks that inspire me. Bruce Lee's on there, Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson. All the greats are up there, and he's one of them.
Ali, man, he's he was ahead of his time. The stuff that he said, the stuff that he did, the stance that he took, no one would dream of doing that back then, or even think about doing that back then, or had the nerve or guts to do it. Yeah. Everyone's worried about their career. They're worried about their careers today. People are afraid to speak out because of their career.
Yeah.
Imagine back then, if he's speaking out against Vietnam. I mean, people looked at him as a traitor.
Yeah.
And he was hated before he was loved. I mean, he was one of the most hated people at one point to becoming the most loved man in the world.
Trailblazer and a pioneer. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so, we all love Ali. I love Ali for what he did inside the ring, but we all love him even more for what he did outside the ring.
Yeah, for the man that he was.
For being an example to us.
Yes.
And showing us the right way.
Yeah.
And
I love that. That's so powerful. And to have that inspiration from the man himself. You stayed in school and you stayed the path. Like, did you ever find yourself tempted by peer pressure?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, being in the life we're living, being an athlete, you have all kinds of temptations. And
yeah.
We're not perfect.
No.
I made mistakes, but you learn from your mistakes. But Ali just, he gave me that. As a kid, it was always in my mind. That's, when you're a kid, it's going to stick with you. And throughout my life, it stuck with me. So here I am. And throughout the years, I'd write him. But I didn't get anything back, but I'd write him back then, There was no email back then. And my professional fight at the Palace, that was 10 years later. Now I'm 20 years old. And he popped in the locker room. I was like, whoa, And we took another photo. The first photo I took with him when I was 10 years old, he's sitting down. I'm standing next to him, and I'm standing up. He's got his fist like this under my chin. He's making that face that he always does, like that. And when he came into the locker room, we took another photo. This time, I got my fist under his chin.
Yeah.
And he's making that same face. I got the photos next to each other.
That's awesome.
So they're my treasured photos.
I love that. That's such a beautiful experience. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You gave me goosebumps. That's so good. And I love that throughout your career, I mean, even though you say, I mean, I know like we've all been tempted by peer pressure throughout our youth and what have you, it didn't consume you. So you were able to kind of beat the odds with that. Not everybody does. And, a lot of folks that I grew up with just didn't beat those odds. It's really hard. And
look, it's difficult to beat, it's difficult with all the peer pressure and so forth.
Yes.
Luckily I had my father.
Yeah.
My father was peer pressure himself,
Yeah.
He wasn't easy. And he was on me.
Yeah.
Not in a good way. I mean, in a good way, but he wasn't nice about it.
Right.
I had that old school mentality, father.
I had that, Dad.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You mess around, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, we were disciplined.
Thank you.
You call it what you want. Nowadays, it's called different, something different. But
so if I wanted to quit just to go mess around,
yeah,
there ain't no quitting.
Yeah,
you're not quitting.
Yeah, that's great though.
So he was on me because he
drive.
knew that's what I wanted to do, and I thank my father for that. And he wasn't perfect in doing it.
Right.
He did it the wrong way, but he grew up with nothing himself. Yeah. He didn't know how to do it.
He did the best he could with what he knew.
Thank you.
And he knew that he loved you, yeah. We grew up with tough love, me and my brother. So I understand this, and I respect it. So over the years, I've gone back and forth in my head about various situations. Like, I wish it would have maybe been handled this way, but like it was what it was, and you can't go back. And like overall, I'm grateful. And I look at, how some other people came up, and you can compare all day, but like I was blessed, as are you, and that's amazing.
I like to keep things honest,
Yeah.
So with my father, we had our ups and downs, and because he was so close to me, it kind of lived through me.
Yeah.
In a sense, because my father, growing up, he grew up in Lebanon, and he was in the streets as a kid. Both his parents were gone, so he kind of grew up himself in the streets with him and his brother sleeping at people's houses. Never went to school in his life. My father had nobody hug him and tell him he loved him when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So him and his twin brother grew up together like that. His twin brother, at the time, kind of went the opposite way as him. My dad kind of on the straight path. But with us, man, my brother, I have a younger brother and a younger sister. With me and my brother, he was on us every single day with school, with sports. We couldn't get an average report card. If we got an average report card, we got it at home.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the belt or whatever.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the belt.
When I fought my boxing matches, if I lost, it's not about losing. My father was the type of guy where if you lose and you fight good, you fight the way you fight, no problem. But if you lose and you don't fight the way you usually fight, you don't fight your fight, then I'm even mad if you don't do a good job.
Right.
I'm like, if I'm not fighting my fight, don't you think someone caused me not to fight my fight?
Yeah.
Maybe the opponent caused me not to fight that.
Yeah.
You know, but he believed in me so much, he didn't believe that in himself.
Yeah.
He didn't believe that, oh, this guy can beat me. So if I lost, it was my doing. And if it was my doing, I had to hear it afterwards.
It's a lot of pressure.
Hell yeah, man. The pressure
Yeah.
on me I had when I was a kid, I had like 11 years old, I had the pressure like if I'm fighting for a world championship, a little club show. I'd be so nervous because my father, and just the pressure I had on me. But with that pressure, I was fortunate enough that it made me better, made me a better fighter. You know, there's a famous saying, Mike Tyson's trainer, Cus D'Amato, gave the saying, he said, this is so true. He goes, look, there's no difference between a hero and a coward. They're both afraid. They both have fear. It's their actions after they're afraid. It's their actions after they have fear that makes one the hero and one the coward.
Yeah.
So when we get in that ring, I know guys in the gym, there's no pressure on them. They can beat world champions in the gym. They're called gym fighters. They're great. Myself in the gym, I wasn't that great in the gym sparring because I got the pressure on me. But when I got up in the ring in front of those lights, and the pressure's on me, and I had that fear in me, you know, you don't want to say more like nervousness, that fear, nervousness,
Yeah.
the butterflies, that made me better. That made me faster. It made me quicker. It made me not want to lose. Made me more just mean. And that's, you got to take that energy and use it to your advantage rather than allow it to destroy you. And that goes in life, period. Whenever you're nervous about something or about doing something or anxious about something, when you're feeling that way, that's going to make you or break you. You got to allow that fear to help you rather than destroy you.
Channel that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I was fortunate enough to be able to channel that energy in the ring. But my father, he had so much love for us, but he had that tough love, like I said. And I mentioned this in another interview. Like, for example, there was one time where I was maybe 15 years old, and he was on me about something, and I said, you're 15, 16, you know that age you're in?
Yeah.
You're hanging out with your friends a little bit. And he's on me, and I said, you know what? I said, I quit. You know, I'm not boxing anymore. I probably said that 10 times.
Yeah.
I quit, whatever, in the past. When I said I quit, I go, this time I quit for sure, you know? He goes, what, you quit? I go, yeah, and he's in the basement. In the basement, I had a shelf with all my trophies. I had over 148 amateur fights. He got up and he broke every single one of my trophies.
Wow.
Every single one. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That hurt me. Back then, imagine you could see your fight. Remember how big a trophy was to you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That was my life.
Yeah.
And that was everything I did. So it really, really, man, when that happened, I ran upstairs crying, you know? And then this is when I knew my father really didn't mean it and how much he loved me. When I came back down, and I peeked in the basement to see what my father was going on down there, and my father was crying. I never seen my father cry. My father cry? Hell no.
Right.
He was like he's a drill sergeant, but he was crying himself. And right there, I said, you know what? It's gonna be all right. You know, it's gonna be all right. And I allowed that to give me more fuel.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's deep. Father-son relationships are tough. I grew up with a father similar, and so we were disciplined back then. And my brothers were only 10 months apart in age, and they're the same age as you. So they were born in the same
really?
year, 10 months apart, basically grew up like twins, and then me 5 years later. So it was weird kind of growing up with brothers your age, because I was kind of expected to keep up with people that were 5 years older than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm a little guy, and it was like no man left behind. So like my brothers were Detroit newspaper boys, Detroit newsboys.
Wow.
So they had paper routes when they were like 10. And so I'm 5 and we get up at 4 a.m. and my dad would have us out there rolling the papers, right? And so we had to go do that. And then like I remember he would drive us until they were able to use their bikes, and then they made so much money with their paper routes they got like mopeds.
Yeah.
And so like I would have to go with them and do that, but he disciplined us like that, and we got the belt also. So like we were in the paddle. Our paddle was this thick. And he had several, and some of them were busted in half. And so, like, that's how...
Remember in school, the paddles in school?
No, but I know my brothers do. I didn't get that in school.
But you remember it was there, though?
Yes.
Man, they hit you hard.
Yes, I didn't
But
get
you know
that
what?
in school.
It knocked the chip off your shoulder. That kid
Yeah.
with that chip on his shoulder, now you can't touch the kid.
No.
Of course not.
Right.
Because they were taking advantage, probably. But
Yeah.
because of that, look at these kids these days. They walk around with no respect.
It's interesting because I look at that, I examine that with my own childhood, like over the years. My opinion has shifted back and forth over the years so many times regarding some of that stuff. And so I would say anytime I get into that conversation with my parents, they're like, you got it the least. Like, I should be grateful about that. And I just
Are you the baby?
I'm the baby. So yeah, I just had the two
You got
brothers.
away with a lot.
And so like they did. So there were just times like when you flash back and you share these stories, you know, I'm sure there's times that you can recall like maybe he went a little too far. I do that. Like I watched it. So like, cause we had to line up, you know what I mean? And so like when we were getting disciplined, whatever we did, you know, it was line up. And then like, even if only one of us did it, we were all three guilty by association.
Really?
Yeah, it was like that. So like, oh my goodness. And so sometimes watching it, it was with the two older brothers, I was like, wow, I can flash back and think, wow, he really went a little too far, you know, sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, I've never been a father. I'm a godfather, but I don't have kids of my own. And so I don't know what it was like to parent me. Well, we were not easy kids. So, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't make life easy. I can tell you that, but we weren't the worst kids either. So, you know, I mean, that happens. And, you know, thank you for sharing that story. That's, you know, a good perspective. You know, a lot of parents, when they have a child that they're living vicariously through, like you said, like you think he was kind of living a little bit through you and earning those trophies. And when you threw in the towel, he felt like it was him throwing in the towel. And so your family's very important to you. I know now you have a beautiful 23-year-old daughter, Ava.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm married. Been married. My wife Dina, my daughter Ava, and my daughter's incredible. And my wife is incredible. But my daughter, she also graduated from college. She's into fashion. She's a social media content creator. She's working with different brands. She's got management. So we'll see where it takes her. Hope it's opening doors for her in the fashion industry, and that's what she loves to do.
I'm gonna have to have her on the show.
Yeah, she got a good head on her shoulders. She's very smart.
Fantastic.
Definitely,
I think you guys, I was watching some of your social media the other day. You guys were out at a concert together. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Dina, my wife and I went and seen what's his name? He was just in concert at the Fox Theater.
Theo Von?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, who came to town
I wanna see
recently?
Theo Von. He was funny, man. He was so funny. I like
Yes, he came to Flint not too long ago. I was going to try to go to that, and then I didn't end up making that happen. But yeah, you guys looked like you had a great time.
It
And
was nice, man. It was nice.
yeah,
Enjoyed it.
relationships take work.
We've been married 27 years.
27 years, okay, and
Man,
Ava's
saying that is
23.
crazy, saying 27 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's no small feat. That's a beautiful accomplishment, and it takes work. And now,
Got that right.
yes. And now, is Dina in real estate? Is she in? Are you guys doing things together?
Well, she helps manage my daughter.
Okay.
My daughter has management, but she's with the management team. But my wife also has a dress line. It's called Salgiano.
Okay.
Salgiano. It's a contemporary dress, but with the old school vibe, like a Motown vibe.
Yeah.
Motown, but more contemporary.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, she's been doing that. She enjoys doing that.
Well, I'll have to have her on the podcast too.
Why not? The whole
That's
family.
awesome.
The
Yes.
whole family.
That's amazing. What a talented family you have. After the boxing career, you're an author also.
Well, not yet. I'm in the process of becoming an author. I'm writing a book right now.
Okay. Perfect.
Sort of a memoir type of book about my career, my life, my experiences at Kronk, the Kronk Boxing Gym where I grew up at.
Yeah.
Many people don't know the Kronk Boxing Gym. It's the most famous gym in the history of boxing. And Emmanuel Stewart, who headed the Kronk Gym, one of the greatest trainers to ever live. And I was fortunate enough to grow up in that gym. The stuff I learned in that gym and the grit I developed in that gym, it's incredible. It'll never be duplicated. And it was a little gym in the basement of a rec center in Detroit. That was the Kronk Gym. In the basement with low ceilings, they had a ring on the floor, 2 bags, a speed bag, and they cranked the heat up to like 95 degrees.
Wow.
And when you taking it easy. You're going all out.
Yeah.
You're trying to kill each other in that ring.
Yeah.
And you got guys around the ring kind of like instigating a little bit, and not in a bad way, but you know these guys, and it just you had to fight for your life in there.
Yeah.
It made you tougher.
Yeah.
They
I'm
give
sure
you
you're going to
grit.
have some
Give you grit.
amazing stories in this book. So how far along are you in that process?
Maybe 50-60% done.
Okay, wow, well, that's a lot because I'm in the same boat you are, and I'm just in the beginning stages. So
Oh, yeah.
yes. So how do you find your process? Are you working with a team that helps you
I'm
along?
gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you this, and ChatGPT is really helping.
Okay.
That's my team right now.
Okay.
I'm writing it, but ChatGPT is kind of doing the stuff that you get a team to do.
Yeah.
And you can do with ChatGPT what it would take you months to do without at no cost compared to hiring people.
Amazing.
So to do the editing for you and so forth, I'm gonna see if I have to get an actual editor, I'll do that. But I'm gonna see how it works.
Yeah.
So far.
Okay,
With
cool.
the ChatGPT, it's an incredible program.
Well, you have a great story, and you're so inspirational. I think that that's a book that I want to read. You know what I mean? Like it's just what you're sharing on the podcast. I mean, there's a lot of people kind of getting into that network, just starting out, like that are looking to mentor kids in the boxing arena, so to speak, and that's like you said, just getting off the streets and finding something to do. I mean, like people connecting because like we're almost the same age. You're the same age as my brother. Yeah. So we grew up in the same, like we had things like that to do versus all the technology and, all this, all these opportunities to get in trouble on social media. Like we were out doing things. Right. So like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that.
Yes, I mean, I stay involved with the youth, with the kids.
Yeah, you're very community.
Throughout the years, I was a spokesperson for the Wayne County Health Department. We did like an anti-drug, anti-smoking campaign for the kids.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, go to schools, talk to these kids, and I go there. When I go talk to the youth, I try to do something different. Yeah. I don't give the spiel where everyone gives it. Stay in school, stay off drugs. Which you're gonna do all that, but
of course,
we got to get these kids to find their passion.
Yeah.
Find something they love. Some of these kids don't know that they can do something they love.
Right.
They think work is supposed to be hard and you're working just to make money and to survive. They got to understand that work doesn't have to be work. You can love what you do, and when you love what you do, you're going to make your money one way or another. You don't got to think about it. Yeah. So I go to schools and try to talk to kids about, finding their passion and sticking with their passion and what they love to do.
Yeah, very inspirational. So like raising your daughter, being a girl dad, you're so loving and supportive of your daughter's career and her dreams. Did you help kind of guide her along in finding her passion into the fashion industry with?
I think she found it herself.
Yeah.
I've always told her to find your passion, but yeah, she found it herself. But my wife is into the fashion thing as well. So it's one of those things.
Yeah.
It just went hand in hand, and she's been doing this for the past 5-6 years now.
Is she sporty at all? Does she get in the ring with you? And
she wasn't a boxing fan, but she's trying to become one because she likes watching the females box.
Okay, cool.
There was a big fight over the weekend she watched. She went to New York and watched it.
Cool.
At Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's cool.
So do you ever think about getting back into the ring and doing any of the, getting back in? You're in great shape. You obviously continue to train and maintain. What are you?
I'm training more the executive workout. I'm at the health club. Doing walking, doing a little bit of weights. I'm not in the boxing gym.
Well, we train differently now as we get on in life with more experience.
I can go to the boxing gym, but hitting the bag right now is kind of like, it's like repetitious for me. I don't get excited off of that.
Right.
The only thing that would excite me right now would probably be getting in the ring and boxing, sparring somebody in the ring.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that because I don't want to get hit. And plus, I feel I might feel too good.
Yeah.
When you feel too good.
Right.
Then you start thinking comeback.
Yeah.
I
get it.
Look, I'm 53 years old.
Yes.
I don't want no comeback.
Oh my God, I love you for saying it too because I get that. So like, just training is different now.
When you're under the lights, it's a different ball game. And at my level, at world class level, that split second makes a difference.
Yes.
And sometimes you won't see that split second loss until you're actually under the lights.
Yeah.
When it's too late.
Yep, I get it. And so I just had coffee with my jiu-jitsu trainer today, and we were talking, and I only trained with my jiu-jitsu trainer. So I was going to jiu-jitsu and training at the school, and I went as far as combatives, and then I hired my trainer out privately, and then we just became friends, and then he joined up as a board member on my nonprofit, and we've been training for like 5 years, and I just took the belt out of the equation just because training, I didn't get into jiu-jitsu until my 40s. I'm closer.
How do you like it?
closer to 50 now. So it's good, but I like training for me. I'm not training for anybody else, and I'm not training for competition.
People do that for boxing as well. They love it.
Exactly. So I love that stuff, and I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I play in my garage. So I turn my garage into a gym, and like I have all the stuff, I have all the toys and the grappling dummies and all that stuff. I like to play by myself. I'm not big on like training in groups with other people because you never know how that's going to roll out, and just the recovery time from getting hit or snapping a tendon. You know what I mean? That's months. I ain't got time for that.
I know. You know, I'm not sure if you noticed with professional sports, especially boxing, a lot of fighters don't have a career afterwards.
Right.
Or athletes in general.
Yeah.
They don't know where to go, what to do.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have the means or the education, or some just think they can't do it.
Right.
So that's another thing I'm going to write in my book.
I was going to say this makes a great chapter for your book because
my transition from sports to business, which a lot of athletes find it very difficult to do or haven't been able to do it. I was able to transition into the real estate business. I'm a real estate broker. My brokerage is American Realty Group, ARG Realty, under the Tarick Salmaci Group. We're located in Dearborn in downtown Detroit. We are a full-service real estate company. We do everything from property management to acquisitions, investments, regular residential sales, whatever you're looking to do.
That's awesome. I think that, just as I'm talking to you, I can see the whole mentorship unfolding. Like, you would be great for young athletes to find their way, if they found their way to you as a mentor, just guiding them in what options they have after their career comes to an end.
Yeah,
or even if they would just want to transition.
I speak to kids all the time about this. I speak to athletes about it.
You do public speaking platforms then, so people can hire you to come and motivate.
Well, I've gone and spoken, but it's not where they've hired me. I've done it free, basically.
Yeah,
talking
that's
to these
awesome.
kids and so forth. Yeah,
that's great. That's fantastic.
But if somebody wants to pay me, call me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if someone wanted to seek you out, your Instagram handle is
my first and last name, Tarick Salmaci.
That's great. That's very inspirational because I know a lot of folks in that space, and that's a great point that you make. There's a guy I know in the nonprofit sector, and he's getting involved in the Pontiac area, and he's starting a boxing gym for youth. Okay. And he's like much to what you said, looking to make an impact on the community and the youth, and they're lacking that in the Pontiac area. And
they need it. What they should do, what I want to do eventually, I would like to one day get a boxing gym, but not a boxing gym where, we're going to build world champions here. A gym for the kids.
Yeah.
To stay off the streets the way I had.
Yes.
The opportunity I had, but I want to incorporate academics with it. Kids can come there to box. If they want to box, they have to maintain a certain point average, and you got tutors there. They have classrooms there as well. There's a couple of gyms that do this right now. There's one in downtown boxing gym in downtown Detroit, which is funded by Dan Gilbert. It's a great, amazing nonprofit where they bus kids in. They have tutors there. The kids box, learning self-defense. They're learning education as well. But the kids don't have to box to learn. They can go there just for the tutoring.
That's amazing.
And a lot of these kids, their parents are either working or maybe out there, not home when they come home. The kids can go to the gym and get their workout in.
That's huge. Let's partner up. I'm in. Let's do it.
I'm looking to do it. Anybody out there looking to do that?
Yeah.
Let me know.
That's a great initiative. Yeah. I think that you can't have enough of that, really. I mean, just because someone else is doing something similar, I mean, you'll have your own flavor, your own spin on it, and nobody else is you. So you're going to be able to bring that vision to fruition through your eyes. That's great. Yeah, that's so cool.
I've been looking for a gym, a space. So soon I find something really, really nice.
What's your dream location for that?
Somewhere inner city where kids need it.
Yeah.
I'd want to be out in a high income area. I want to be somewhere where it's lower income.
Yeah, smart.
Where the kids don't have the opportunity. And that's where I grew up in a lower income area. And that's where I got my opportunity at with the Joe Hammoud Center. Because that gym never opened, that rec center never opened, I probably would have never boxed. Who knows?
Yeah. That was one of my dreams when I started my nonprofit, was to have a rec center. That was definitely one of the seeds I was planting back in the day when I was starting up. I was telling you a little bit about my transitions as I was starting up my business, and that was definitely a dream. And then now I'm launching the transportation business. Maybe once we link it all up, we can bust the kids in. The
Look, man,
transportation
you gotta get back to the kids. That's people who are athletes or people who have a name. You have to like connect with the youth.
Yeah.
Because that's our future,
It is our future. That's true.
We always heard that song by Whitney Houston.
Yes.
I believe children are our future. We didn't know what that meant when we got older.
Yep.
How much that means. And, it takes guys who, especially the bigger name you have, the more impact you're going to have when you work with these kids. So we need these athletes who have these big names to continue working with these kids. And the ones who aren't, to start working with these kids. Like, look at Emmanuel Stewart, who was the trainer. But we all looked up to Emmanuel Stewart. He's the one that trained Thomas Hearns. He's trained over 30 world champions and developed 30 world champions, more than 30. And growing up, Emmanuel always gave us attention as kids. So we always wanted to impress him. We always wanted to impress Emmanuel. And he went out of his way for us. And because of that, we stayed off the streets. We wanted to win. So he's more like a father figure to us. And he would pick us up, like 10, 15 of us. He had a gold limousine because the Kronk colors were gold. Right?
Yeah.
And we're all in lower income areas. And let's say we've never been to a nice restaurant in our lives, We're like 10, 12, 14 years old. He'd pick us up. And this is like in the 80s, all right? Emmanuel Stewart is in his heyday. And,
Yeah.
Managing world champions, traveling the world. And he'd come and pick us up in the gold limo, like 12 of us. And he'll take us to the most expensive restaurant in Detroit for dinner. And we're like, we don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
We end up going to Carl's Chop House, which was a big chop house back in the day.
Yeah.
In downtown, and we go in there and eat. And I remember one of my friends, he was younger than me, he was maybe like 9, 10 years old. I was maybe 12, 13. He was like, "What is this?" He goes, "Man, I want McDonald's." Where we at? So
I love
and
that.
Emmanuel, he give us trophies
Yeah.
over there. Let's say we just fought and won. He give us trophies, give us money, just encourage us.
Yeah.
And so we kind of were there, doing it for him.
Yes.
We wanted to impress him. And then,
I love that because, to your point, kids are really looking for someone to look up to. That's real. Like, they really are. And if they don't have someone to look up to, that's when they find their way to the streets and there's nothing good happening there. You know what I mean? You're basically just a victim of peer pressure at that point. And if you're too little to advocate for yourself, you are a victim, until you get old enough to make choices for yourself. But sometimes for some folks, for some kids, it's too late. I've watched that happen right before my very eyes. And some people just don't have the tools to turn it around unless you have a mentor. I'm big on mentorship. I had great mentors, and so I'm no angel. So I had my heyday too. I made bad choices. I gave into peer pressure. I did all those things, but like I said, I was blessed enough to come out on the other side of that stuff. And I also do credit having good mentors and having good people to look up to. So that's huge. And so you're obviously a pillar of the community and a great resource for people to reach out to and start the initiatives that you're looking to start up with. I got to commend you for that. That's amazing. I'm feeling very inspired today.
I'm trying, man.
You're doing.
I can do a lot more, We all can do a lot more.
Absolutely.
We got to give back, and that's what life's about, giving back as we get older. When you're younger, you want to take. You're trying to accomplish this and accomplish that, but now you have to give back.
Yeah.
And when you give, good things happen.
I think so too.
And you feel better yourself,
Man, that's going to be great. I think. Well, also too, what a blessing having the real estate career that you've had, because that'll help you kind of put the puzzle together, finding your location, if that is something that you're able to bring to fruition. That's so cool.
Yeah, working on it.
Amazing.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. Bigger and better things are coming. I was recently appointed to the Michigan Boxing Commission.
Yes.
By Governor Whitmore, which was a great honor. So, I'm still involved in boxing. I managed boxers. I promoted boxing, but now I'm on the Michigan Commission, so we oversee all the fights taking place in Michigan. So. It's nice. I'm having a good time with that.
That's amazing.
I enjoy my life, man.
Yes. So what are some of the other responsibilities you have as the commissioner?
Well, like I said, we approve fights. Sometimes the fighter tells a drug test. You got to, either fine the person. You have a meeting. Yeah. We're going to fine them or suspend the person, or make sure that no one's overmatched. Or you have a big fight that wants to come to town. You got to approve the fights, approve the opponents.
Awesome.
We got a big one come up at Little Caesars Arena with Clarissa Shields, female world champion.
Yeah.
Out of Flint.
Wow.
They have a big fight.
That's so cool. Yeah. I love the initiatives that you've got cooking. All right. So obviously you're still in great shape. Like you've been training and maintaining the whole entire time. What does your week look like to...
I'm a man, I like routine, you know, so I have my routine where I work out daily at the health club. Like I said, I'm not boxing. Right. I'm going there doing a little bit of weights, a little bit of cardio. It's near my office. I'm at the office most of the day doing my appointments in the afternoon and so forth. But I'm one of those guys where since I started working out at that gym, when it comes to weights, I've probably been doing the same workout for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You know?
I do know.
But it's still hard.
Yeah.
I make it harder.
Yep.
I might go extra, but I do the same routine. I'm the kind of guy, even when it comes to food, if I eat something and I like it, I eat it every single day.
Same. Yep.
So what happens to me, I'll do it until I get really sick of it.
Yeah. We're the same.
My wife can't understand how I do this.
Yes, I do it too. So it was so funny because when I was starting up my business and I really started taking fitness seriously, I was training and I can eat the same thing like repetitively, and people always ask like, how do you get your abs? And I'm like, well, chicken, broccoli, and rice. And I'm like, and you can really I can eat that all the time. So I would be at Costco all the time and I would buy in bulk and I can eat that until it's gone. No problem. So I get
People always ask me like, oh, they think I diet like strict.
Right.
I don't really diet too strict.
Yeah.
I'm blessed, thank God, that I'm able to, it comes off and I'm able to eat what I want. But naturally, I eat fairly well naturally. My wife cooks for me pretty well. Even if I eat out, I eat pretty well. Yeah. But if I want to eat something, I'm going to eat it.
I do the same. So like if I want pizza and burgers, I eat pizza and burgers.
People will think like, oh, this guy's not going to eat this. I'm not going to eat that. I go, you don't know me.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat it.
Yes.
I'll work it off, but I'm going to eat it.
Yeah. But that's just because repetition and nutrition are part of your everyday routine and structure. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. But yeah, I don't deny myself anything. So like I'm into that too. Like I think people always like to think that I wouldn't partake in eating this or that until they go out to eat with me, and then they realize, oh, he eat 2 pizzas in one sitting.
Hey, you look like you work out daily, huh?
I do, yeah. I like to get up at 2 a.m. and that's part of my gig. Like it's me and my dogs up on my property, and
you wake up at what time?
2, 1:30.
What time do you go to bed?
Usually about 7.
Oh my goodness.
PM, 6:30, 7
You're
PM.
crazy, man.
It keeps me on my game. You know what I mean? That works for me.
I don't know how you do it. You go to bed at 7, wake up at 2.
I do, because there's nothing really going on, at night. And so like as I've gotten older and kind of drifted out of just social drinking and that stuff, I've never made any kind of declaration about not drinking. I just don't. And so like all this time will go by and I realize, shit, I haven't had like a cocktail or a drink in some time. It's almost going on like 2 years. It's been over a year and a half. And I'm not like, again, there's no declaration on that, but really like a lot of the folks that I know that go out and socialize, that's what everything centers around. And my life just doesn't center around that. Good, so like I'm at a stage in my life, like much like you, where it's about giving back and starting initiatives and focusing on those things. And that stuff doesn't serve me best. So what seems to serve me best is kind of getting up at that 2 a.m. hour. I love like,
okay, if you can sleep at 7, I give it to you.
Yeah.
I could never, I wish I could.
But I have a full enough day that like you get a couple of workouts in, and I'll go for a walk or a run, a light run, and then I get my workouts in. Like I said, I have a gym in my garage, so I can train in there anytime I want, and then and I dig that. So like also like I'll go up to the high school and I'll walk the track. I like to do like run backwards, run sideways, and like you can't just do that stuff out on the street, right? And so like I train weird, and so got to do it at the 3 a.m. hour when all the freaks come out.
I'll give you credit, man.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. But that really works for me. And then like I said, it keeps me focused on my goals and definitely in shape. So yeah, it's hard.
Did you ever try boxing before at all?
So my dad had us doing all that stuff as kids, and so he would train so my brothers had it in them. They wanted to fight, and they beat up everybody in the high school. They beat up their principals. They beat up everybody. Got kicked out of school. That was my brothers. And he had us working out as young boys, and so like they used to take me down when we lived downriver Detroit. They used to take me down to the park and make me fight people. I didn't like to do that. So
man, that's old school.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It didn't vibe with me.
Yeah.
I didn't feel good about it, but my brothers loved it. So they loved doing that, but they were good at it. And so I think someone was telling me a story about my oldest brother. I want to say I was having a conversation with an old friend of his, someone that we have in common, and they were telling me they had only seen him ever lose one fight, and he never stopped getting up. It was like he was
relentless.
He was completely he was drunk at a party, completely incapacitated at a party, and kept getting up, and the guy stopped fighting him because he wouldn't stop getting up. And it was like, he was like, that's the only time I ever saw your brother lose a fight. He was like, and the other guy wouldn't continue to fight him. It's like, that sounds like him because that's how he is. So crazy, but that wasn't like my gig, so it wasn't my thing. And so like my first day of high school, the principals called me down to the principal's office and said, we're going to be having none of your Cormier shenanigans here at the high school. And so I was like, but that wasn't my vibe. So I was causing other trouble. I was into other things, but you know, as I got older and started training in different ways, like I told you, I didn't find my way into jiu-jitsu until I was in my 40s, and so that was a different thing. It was more about self-empowerment, and I like training and stuff like that, and playing with the gloves and the grappling dummies and things like that. But like I like to train like privately. I don't like to.
Man, like with me, it's like after I retired, I look back. It wasn't until after I retired I said to myself, man, how did my father allow me to do this?
Yeah.
Boxing.
Right.
It's not an easy sport. Not only is it not easy, it's also, you know, you got danger involved when it comes to, you know, any contact sport with getting hit in the head, etc. You're younger, you don't think anything's going to happen to you.
Right.
Know, but something could have happened to me.
You're invincible when you're young and you're not thinking like that.
I don't know how my father allowed me to actually box, to be honest with you, because people ask me, would I let my son box? And I don't think I would. I would not let him box. I mean, I think I would let him learn and train, but to compete, I wouldn't want that for him because, like I said, the danger involved when you get hit in the head.
Close head injury. And
I know guys I grew up with who were great boxers, and now I'm seeing the after effects as we get older.
Right.
A lot of guys with CTE or guys that just... It's sad.
And that's my line of work. I work with traumatic brain injury.
Oh,
that's what I started getting into when I was in my late teens, 18 on up. I worked for the same organization for 20 years, traumatic brain injury, and all kinds of various diagnosis. And anything can happen. And, you know, you're living your best life 1 minute, and then the after effects of a lifestyle start coming into play. Even sports, football. I mean, this happens, and I see it too. And that was, you know, like I said, when I get into something, I really get into it. So I'm glad that I didn't find my way into other things that I'm finding my way into now to train at a more responsible level. You know what I mean? I don't even really honestly like horseplay because you get in a group, and if you're training like at a school with strangers or people that just don't have an off switch or they don't know how to, you know, throttle, that's dangerous. You know what I mean? Like,
the contact sports in general.
Yeah.
Especially when you get in the head, football, boxing. People ask me, oh, does boxing cause brain damage? It could. Does football cause CT or brain damage? It could. Everybody reacts differently to punishment. Whether you box, whether you play football, whether you hit your head on the floor. Some guys, a truck will run them over their head and they're fine. Another guy will tap his head on the ground and he's dead. Yeah. Same thing in boxing. Some guys their bodies can take that. With drugs even. You know, some people could smoking cigarettes. We know people who smoke till they're 100 years old. Yeah. Other people 10 years and they have cancer.
Or don't smoke at all and end up with lung cancer. Never smoked.
So when people ask you about boxing, are you afraid of being? Yeah, there's a chance there, but it all depends on your multiple things. Your genetics, how much punishment you're taking. Is your body able to absorb that punishment? it's a gamble.
Yeah. Everything's a gamble.
Yeah, it's a gamble. And, thankfully, I feel like I came out okay. So far, so good. And I'm also part of a boxer fighter study at the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio, where they do a really thorough brain exam, and they see everything in the brain. Every year we do it.
Wow.
And they want to see how you, if you're declining a normal, you get older, you decline naturally.
Yeah.
But they want to see compared to other boxers or to regular human beings and boxers, are they declining more? So everyone.
That's
so
a good
far,
monitor,
so good.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's fantastic.
And so far, they told me I've been good so far. I've been declining the proper amount, and I'm not showing signs of CTE.
That's fantastic.
God bless.
Like you said, it's different strokes for different folks.
Well, and then again, even your style of fighting matters too. I wasn't one of those guys that got in there and just brawled.
Right.
And it took a punch to give a punch. I moved. I was fast. I had good defense.
You understood the art of boxing.
Yeah, I was more like the art of boxing. Exactly.
Yeah.
I wasn't in there to brawl. Right. When I hurt the guy, yeah, I'll brawl and knock him out. But to get to that, I use the sweet science of boxing, as you know. Even though I would never have my son box. Because like I said, you don't know, it's such a gamble. And the odds are so slim.
Yeah.
Because it's not a good business. But from what I've been through, it really did a lot for me.
The
and
training
life,
piece of it and the art.
The training piece, it humbles you.
Yes.
It disciplines you, which humbles you. People always say boxers and MMA guys, the nicest guys outside the ring. Yeah, because they're humbled. Being in that ring, man, it'll humble you. We've had guys, they used to come down to the Kronk Gym, who walked into the gym. They were tough guys from the streets. And one day, they decided, hey, you know what? I'm here because they told me I'm beating everybody up in the streets, that I might as well make some money doing it. I want to go in there. Okay, do you want to learn? No, I can get in the ring right now. They're like, hey, you're more than welcome, because they know what's going to happen. Right. He goes in the ring and gets his ass kicked.
Yes.
You never see him again. Or you have somebody come in, and at the Kronk Gym, it was small, it was packed with people. It was really hot. Let's say a white boy would walk in from downriver.
Yeah.
We had that sometimes. They had the long hair, and they'd be like, somebody just watch Rocky. Somebody just watch Rocky.
Yes.
They'll come in, they'll throw him in the ring. If he's cocky, they'll throw him in the ring. They're like, oh yeah, and they'll be real nice to him. Oh,
yeah.
You want to get, okay, yeah, no problem. You think you can spot, and they'll put him against a guy. Let's say the guy is 19, 20, 21 years old. They'll put him against a 16-year-old, 140-pound kid.
Yeah.
Oh, this kid doesn't move around with you.
Right.
And the kid will beat the shit out of him.
Wow.
And then the guy never comes back again.
Yeah.
And he's humbled.
Right. Well, it's like we said, the art of boxing, there's an art to it. It's just like jiu-jitsu or anything you train in. There's jiu-jitsu means gentle art. And so for me, I needed to learn all about the philosophy behind everything before I started into that stuff. It just meant something to me. And like I said, I started into that stuff as I got older, when I was looking for meaning and purpose and prayer, and all these things were coming, you know what I mean, at once. It was just an evolution of all that for me. So everything I did had purpose, and that meant something to me. And so if someone like you is looking to inspire youth to get into boxing for the right reasons, it's you can unfold that evolution for them of the art of boxing, the why and the art of it. And it can be a beautiful experience if you're not just looking to brawl for this reason or that reason, because there's a lot of other things that come with it too.
There's a lot of people out there don't know. They think boxing, they never give it a chance.
Right.
They think of Rocky.
Yeah, exactly.
Two guys just
it can look.
I mean, there are boxers that do that, but the real good, the real experienced, real champions you're gonna see, it's really an art. If they give it a chance and really watched it, they'll see where it's like a chess match. And you can't make the mistake. You got to really calculate your punches and
Footwork.
Footwork, everything. You got to have a plan. So a lot of these guys in there, you got guys who are world champions, for example, from a lower income area, maybe from the ghetto, never been to school in their lives. Some of these guys have the intelligence of a genius. The IQ levels are really high, but they don't know it.
Right.
They never.
And no one's ever invested in them.
No one never went to school.
Yeah.
They don't know how smart they really are. They know that no one knows their intelligence, but when they get in the ring, they're able to do things that others like, oh my God, how do you do this? And he'll tell you afterwards, or I seen him doing this, and I had to readjust and do this, and just the things they're telling you, it just really, especially when that pressure's on you, to be able to see all that and calculate.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Right.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot of passion that goes into something like that, especially if you're going to, make a career out of that. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Okay, I'll give you another famous saying. They always say, you can play baseball, you can play basketball, you can even play football. You cannot play boxing. There ain't no plan. So when if you decide to box as a career, you got to take it serious, and you better love it, because you're not going to take it serious unless you really love it. You got to really love it and have the passion for it. Otherwise, you can do it just to stay in shape and so forth. But if you're going to get in that ring and actually make it a career, make sure it's something that you really, really want to do.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And find your way to good mentors.
Yeah, you're right about it. We had the Kronk, we had Emmanuel Stewart and other box. We had the old school boxing trainers back then, who were teachers.
Teachers, okay? Yeah.
Today, you got a bunch of trainers. Anybody can be a trainer.
Right.
They watch YouTube and become a trainer, and they put the pads on, let the guy hit the pads, put it and look great. No, you want somebody who is going to teach you when you throw a punch, the mistake you're making, or how to counter another guy's punch. It's really an art. You need someone to teach you that art. And it's very hard to find that today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you see these guys that are training these kids today. So these kids are getting in the ring and everyone's trying to be a knockout artist. Everyone's trying to be Mike Tyson.
Right.
Instead of going out there and executing and making it into an art form and going out there and having fun with it and throwing combinations, and they just go out there and try and do 1, 2 and knock out the guy. It doesn't work that way.
Or you got the trainers that are looking to make money off of youth, you know what I mean, by training them to be the next thing. And that's exploitation, and that's part of that too. I mean, did you ever have anybody come your way throughout your career that was looking to kind of exploit you in that way, just turn you into a machine and just kind of ride your coattails?
I had Don King, boxing promoter, but I didn't give him a chance to do it. He wanted to sign me, but at the time I didn't sign with him. I didn't get a good feeling from the whole thing,
Trust your gut. That was a smart move.
Yeah,
it didn't serve you, and you knew it.
Maybe if I was a world champion and you can sign with Don King, because you can call the shots more. But when you're up and coming, you can't call the shots too much. Right. They're going to give you a contract, and you don't know what's in that hidden writing.
They kind of own you, right? And
man, like with Don King, his fighters that he signs, the young guys.
Yeah.
Let's say he gives them a signing bonus. When they fight, all their training expenses come out of their purse.
Right.
Your airline ticket to the fight will come out of your purse.
Wow.
So let's say you make money in a fight. Let's say you make $100,000, for example, and you're getting billed probably 30 or 40 grand, and then you left with 60 grand. Then you got to give your manager 20, 30%. Then you got to pay your taxes, and then you're left with what from 100,000, 20,000 maybe.
Yeah.
Wow,
and you're taking the beating, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
My contract had ended, and I was a free agent. That's when I went down to talk with Don King. His offices were in Florida, down in Fort Lauderdale. And I went down there, and there was a fighter there from the Kronk Gym who I trained with for a few years. His name was Gerald McClellan. Gerald McClellan was a middleweight champion of the world. He came to Kronk back in '88. I was 16 years old. He was probably 20 years old. He had just missed the Olympics. He turned pro. He had just beaten Roy Jones in the amateurs. So Gerald McClellan was a really, really good amateur. Emmanuel Stewart signed him with Kronk. When I turned 18, I'd spar with Gerald. He was bigger than me, he's more experienced, but we move around. I threw a jab at him, and he said, "Oh, hold on, man, you thumbed me in the eye," like with a glove. He was blinking like nonstop with both eyes. So Emmanuel Stewart said, "You know what, you guys get out of the ring, continue this tomorrow, whatever." We're back there, and he says, "Hey, Tarick, man, I got to tell you something." I go, "What?" He goes, "Listen, man, I'm going to tell you something." He goes, "I'm man enough to tell you." He goes, "You didn't thumb me." He goes, "I'm man enough to tell you you hurt me." But I said, I was kind of taken back by it. Like, I hurt you, because I hit him with a jab. He had headgear on, but I probably hit him right here.
Yeah.
But he was doing this with his eyes still, like that. It wasn't thumbing, he was doing this, blinking nonstop, I go, "All right." He goes, "Yeah, man, I just want you to know that, man. But we'll continue it next time. We'll spar again, whatever." All right, whatever. So next thing you know, time goes by. Next year goes by. He ends up leaving Kronk. He goes down and signs with Don King. He signs with Don King. He's in Florida. Gerald McClellan's in Florida training for his middleweight championship fight coming up. I just happened to go down there because Don King wants to sign me. I go, "Gerald, what's up?" He's there. "Yeah, man." I remember walking in the office over there. It was the vice president of Don King Productions. So anyway, I walk into her office. She's not there. Gerald's there. And he looked upset. I said, what's the matter? He goes, man. And Gerald was a WBC middleweight champion. He's getting ready to go to England and fight this guy named Nigel Benn. Black guy out of England, dreads, jacked.
Yeah.
And this guy was a world champion as well. Big fight over there. He's huge in Europe and England. And Gerald's telling me, oh, he's only making $100,000 for this fight. This is like a multi-million-dollar fight. I go, what? That's it? He goes, yeah, man. I go, you should be making way more. I'm like 23 years old. I'm telling him, I go, you should be making way more than that. He goes, that's what I'm saying, you know. And then the vice president walked in. She goes, hey, she overheard me. She goes, don't tell our fighters what to say, you know. I go, whatever, you know. I blew it off, whatever. So Gerald flies to England to fight Nigel Benn. I'm in Fort Lauderdale watching. I hadn't signed with Don King yet. I'm watching on TV. Gerald McClellan gets into the ring and tears this guy apart. Pummels him. Boom, boom, left, right, boom, boom, and knocks the guy out of the ring. The guy flips out of the ring onto the floor. And in boxing, if you get knocked out of the ring, they can cut to 20 for you to get back in. If you don't get back in by 20, you're done. They start counting. Nigel Benn, I don't know how he got up and made himself back into the ring, dragged himself back in, got up. They continued the fight. And Joe all out on him, beating him. And this guy surviving. Boom, he survives the round. Gerald goes back. Next round, Gerald, same thing. The guy survives the round again. Now we're in the third or fourth round. Gerald's getting really tired now. Threw himself out. All of a sudden, Nigel Benn's coming now. Like a train, bro. Keeps coming. Boom. Now the fight's going back and forth. 8th, 9th round. I look at Gerald. He's moving around. He's blinking now. He's blinking nonstop. And the announcer goes, Gerald, why is he blinking like this? He's blinking. I looked at him from Florida. I go, that's the way he was blinking after he said I thumbed him.
Yeah.
He was blinking like that nonstop.
Right. It's a seizure.
I don't know what it was, but you know what? I'm like, what? All of a sudden, he takes a knee. Wow. He never takes a knee. Like, he quit. He took a knee. And they count to 10. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell just happened right now? He was winning the fight, but, you know, he started getting hit, and he got tired, and just quit. No way. And all of a sudden, when he's on his knee, he falls like a statue.
Wow.
Boom. They carry him back to the corner, and then he passed out.
Wow.
So they had to take him in for emergency surgery for blood clot. And after that surgery, he came out of the surgery 90% deaf and like 90% blind.
Wow.
He sees shadows and he's kind of deaf. There's 1995, 30 years to this day, his sister, Lisa McClellan, takes 24-hour care of him. For 30 years, this Lisa is probably one of the most amazing individuals I've ever met in my life. What she's able to do, what she's done with her brother. Now she started an organization called Ring of Brotherhood Foundation for fallen fighters. And I'm on the board with that organization as well, where, you know, we help fighters who are in need, whether it be for psychiatric problems or drugs or just they're down and out.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to bring awareness to this for Gerald and talking about it and bringing awareness. We got major people involved. Matter of fact, we have a meeting today later on with the Ring of Brotherhood online. And my point is, Gerald, to this day, like even Nigel Benn, he thinks he caused that to Gerald. Yeah. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Right.
And I've been quoted as saying online that, you know what, this is a story that happened back then with us, but it did. I truly believe he was hurt before that fight. He didn't know he had an underlying issue. He just happened to react that fight. Even in our sparring session, it kind of reacted a little bit in that sparring session. But just throughout the years, it's been 30 years now, we're trying to like do something for him to help him.
That's amazing that you're a board member for that. And, you know, that's my first business is 24-hour in-home care. So wow. I have a network of caregivers, and we provide 24-hour in-home care and transportation. So, I mean, it's for anybody, but that's
so when I was in Florida,
special.
I'm sitting there watching it on TV, and just the way afterwards, just how everything panned out with Don King, with everyone else, I just kind of got turned off by it.
Yeah.
And just kind of packed my bags and went home.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm kind of done with this. But down there, when I was training down there, I got a chance to meet an infamous boxing trainer by the name of Panama Lewis. Panama Lewis, Jamaican guy, probably older guy, had the dreads, like a Rastafarian kind of guy.
Yeah.
But he was an incredible trainer. And we were down there. He was training this real champion in Florida when I was down there. And he asked me if, hey, I want to spar this guy. I knew this guy. His name was Simon Brown, world champion. I only had 6 pro fights. And I got in there, I battled with him. And I came back the next day to battle again. And Panama loved that. You know, Panama had that accent. Hey, Salmaci, hey, champion, you know, you're good, man, you're good. I came back, yeah, you're good. Now, Panama Lewis is famous in the boxing world. But he's banned from boxing. Panama Lewis got banned from boxing in the 80s because one of his boxers, he was accused of taking the padding out of the glove before a fight. Oh,
wow.
It's 1981 maybe?
Yeah.
Before I met him years back. There's a documentary on it. You got to watch his documentary.
Yeah.
It's called Assault in the Ring. But Panama was such a great trainer that Don King was using him to train Tyson because even though he can't work the corner, he was still training fighters.
Yeah.
And he was when I was down there at Don King's camp, I was working. He was training one of Don King's fighters. That's why I sparred with the guy down there. So at Panama, he liked me as a fighter. So fast forward a few years later, the next year, I'm a free agent. I'm at a Mike Tyson fight in Vegas. I ran into Panama Lewis, and he's with a boxing manager named Sterling McPherson. And Panama sees me. He remembered me from last year. He's like, Salmaci, come here. He tells Sterling, this guy can fight right here. He's got heart, man, this and that. And I was a free agent. And one thing led to another. I ended up signing with Sterling. But that was the move I shouldn't have made because it was one of those things where I ended up being shelved, not fighting. I had to go to court. That's what frustrated me.
Yeah.
It got me to walk away from boxing for like 3-4 years with this man. And it's the ugly side of boxing, the dark side of boxing, bringing, taking them to arbitration, them coming with fake contracts. It's just really dirty, turned me off, and that's why I had walked away like I did.
Yeah.
But like I said, 3.5 years later, I get that phone call from Mark Burnett about being on the Contender. We know my story was that guy did not have a shot, didn't get a shot. So I went on there and made the most of it. It wasn't me because 3.5 years off, I'm fighting these guys all active, world-class fighters. But I put on a good showing. I was even voted back as a fan favorite. So it helped me out with my career, with my life in general. It really catapulted everything that I was doing. So I used it for my advantage, and I retired again after that.
Yeah, well, it's amazing, and everything kind of unfolds as it should. As we know, like everything happens for a reason. It just really does. And it sounds like you've followed your path, and you've got a successful brokerage.
Yeah.
And a great career in real estate.
And I'm still involved in boxing, like I said.
You're on the passion side of it. So like you get to mentor now, and you get to show people. You get to share the dark side of boxing, and the art, the beautiful art, and the dark side.
I like to give advise these kids too.
Yeah.
Give them advice on these kids turning professional, because a lot of kids don't have no guidance.
No,
they make the wrong mistakes themselves sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to think about too. That's where the difference between trainers and mentors, teachers comes in. It's like those are good. In boxing,
lessons. You got to find a team that you trust, people that you trust. With anything, you got to find the right team. It's all about finding the right team, and people that you're able to work with, and people you're able to improve with, and move forward with. You can't just do it yourself. You can't just go out there and get anybody. People you trust, that's what you need. And with anything, boxing, any sport, I think with any business even, I would say. And my business is the same way,
Right. Yeah.
People I really, really trust surrounding me. So I try to help them out as much as possible.
People need a good mentor. That's awesome. Well, you're the right man for the job.
Thank you.
Well, I'm feeling very inspired today. I want to thank you so much for coming out to the studio and sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was an honor. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed myself, honestly.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to having you back as a repeat guest. I think that you have a lot to offer, a lot to share. And I think we'll make sure to put up all your links. And so everybody follow the amazing Tarick Salmaci. Thanks for joining me in the studio. Words. All right. Yes, that's a wrap.